Alright, hello everyone. Here we are, hole 3. See if I can't get in here real quick. And we're going to play this very similar to yesterday. Anything with Pak 5, a Pak 6, a Pak 7, you should be able to reach that second fairway on the flight without needing to do too much work. The bigger the wind that you have, the better. Here's 11.5, which should be plenty. I know you can go probably at least 6 topspin, so that's what I'm going to try to do here. So I'll just go full with 6. I'm thinking aim-wise somewhere around here. Sure enough, let's see how this comes in. First bounce good. I'm sure you could probably just max out everything. I don't see that rolling through the fairway without a very unlucky break. Anything you might want to avoid is getting in between clubs. So, and you could potentially get in between clubs. Not to mention, especially if you have to play multiple accounts, if you have to play this shot with a Pak 5, a Pak 6, and a Pak 7, you might want to just kind of scale your shots just to kind of a Pak 6, a Pak 5, like somewhere to where you could almost hit the same shot 3 times as opposed to 3 different plays, from about 40 yards different of one another. So what I did this time, I brought Tsunami. I'm going to try this backspin shot. I would recommend maybe Tsunami or Saturn. It's going to be a little bit easier to stop. And I think you might be able to curl it in from the backside if you do this properly. So let's take a look at what this looks like. 11.7. I don't think I've been adding here. I think it's playing relatively consistent. It looks like, I might be kind of in the 60-ish% club range. Getting 8 rings here. I'm thinking, kind of landing somewhere like this. Let's just take a look here, what we can get. Looks good so far. And as you can see, I can get it to back up. So that is going to be, a relatively good option. If you can get that little bit of backspin and get it just behind that cup. What it looks like I do with my guide is I leave it almost just a tiny bit short because I know that it's going to kind of stretch out just a little bit. And you can see where I am with my slider in terms of for this shot. As you get towards max club, it might be a little bit easier because those bounces might actually springboard forward a little bit more. So I wouldn't have to run the risk of coming up just a tad bit short. So it almost benefits to be back an extra 10 yards. Might just make that, those bounces just a little bit easier to get behind there. It might just naturally kind of be behind the hole because I don't recommend coming off of the backspin. You are going to want to make sure that it's full throttle. If you scale it back to 8, it might just be more of a stop shot to where it just hits that last 4th bounce and just stops right on that spot. So that's the one thing that you want to try to avoid. So good luck with that. As I mentioned, Saturn, Tsunami. Keep in mind that the Saturn's going to have less range by about 11 yards. So I would have been much closer to max club there. So it might require, especially if you have a Pak 5, it might require a Power 4 dead ball, for instance, to get it down there to where I just was. So good luck with that 3rd hole, and I'll see you guys on hole 4.